Workforce management, it's not only numbers, it's not only spreadsheets, it's not only helping to make a decision, it's really making the people in the heart of everything. We will enter directly into the blame game. It's not my fault, it's your fault, and then it's an endless conversation. The true cycle is plan, take something that is not insane to achieve, where operations are buying in, aligned, committing to deliver, and then hand it over to them because they have to deliver this.
If you can achieve a financial bonus by doing stuff that might not be better for the greater good, but it's definitely better for your wallet, people tend to do it.
If there is no trust, there is no need for WFM. I always call the WFM team as neutral as Switzerland. They don't take decision. They provide enough insight and intelligence to others to take the right decision.
Hello everyone, hi WFMers and friends of WFM. I'm your host Irina and this is WFM Unfiltered, and today we're going to Morocco and I'm so excited because I have a guest that not only have tons of experience and knowledge, but he's also very opinionated, and for the very first time he came completely prepared with tips and knowledge and stuff. And he even created a presentation that I'm going to share with everyone after the recording. So he basically did my job and I'm here for just the beauty of it all. But I want to introduce you to Zach. Hey, Zach, how have you been?
Hey, long time.
Long.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. As you mentioned, it's been a long time, and I'm happy that we finally managed to sync and make that recording. But before we kick off with the conversation, would you mind sharing a little bit about your experience and basically walk us through your background?
Yeah, of course. So first of all, thanks for also this opportunity. So you can call me Zach. My name is Zakaria, but you can call me Zach. I'm working with the business process outsourcing since 2003. So I do have something like 20 years plus experience in this field. And I think, like everyone, I was not having any kind of goal to stay this amount of years. It was something like, oh, okay, I will start something like 2-3 months, 1 year, and then second, and then third, and then, okay, that's exactly what I would like to do for the rest of my life. And funny fact is, it's completely different. What I am doing today is completely different from my education path. I'm someone coming from finance, pure finance.
I
And
know that.
now we'll work on it.
Finance, Zach, you haven't mentioned this to me. It's like new information. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, but that was on the education level. So I haven't practiced anything in finance. Probably in 2005, I was discovering this workforce management part, and I was having this click in mind saying, probably I can switch. I don't like finance. I don't like this word of finance, but I can still use all the knowledge. So I have started the workforce management journey between 2005 and 2008. So that was really the first piece of work that I have delivered in terms of workforce management. And since that, I have been covering this with various perimeters, with various organizations up to date.
So you're basically a converted WFMer from finance to WFM for life. That's what we're saying.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. So as I mentioned to our listeners, you came prepared because I knew that you are always upping your game, but I didn't know that you're going to come that prepared. So let's kick it off. Let's start talking about WFM. And for some reason, Zach, I just closed the presentation. So you have to give me a second. Before that, we have to start talking about WFM in general. What's that all about?
Yeah, no.
WFM.
Workforce management. It's not only numbers. It's not only spreadsheets. It's not only helping to make a decision. It's really making the people in the heart of everything. In our industry, we are not manipulating any kind of machines or big industries like we do have with automotive or paints or whatever. We are really having human inside of the whole machine. So workforce management is really about that. It's really about how to make sure that everyone is aligned about the same goals, how everyone is oriented to that performance, buying in, and not simply thinking it's something that we cannot achieve. So probably it's linked also to our conversation today, the performance of workforce management.
Yes, and this is a very good segue to workforce management performance metrics and how to rethink it. So walk me through that. What is it there to be rethought?
So indeed, this is a very good question. So we are not excluding any operational metric, but this is a landing page. This is nothing a path. So WFM, let's imagine they are asked to visualize and put a plan for 10 different steps, right? And each step need to be very correlated to the reality, to the actual delivery. So if we conduct a post-mortem analysis and found that the 10 were aligned to the plan, then there is absolutely no reason to fail in service level or to fail in the projected service level. Don't get me wrong. But if the projected service level, for instance, is 90%, 20 seconds, and the 10 points, we found out that 5 of them were completely deviating from the reality, then there is no chance to meet the service level because we were planning something wrong. So this is a result of the process. So the process itself is take all the steps, imagine a good plan for every single step, and make sure that operations are delivering against this. So if everything is aligned, then everything is aligned. Imagine, and this is most of the time my case when I'm visiting some European cities and taking the metro to somewhere I don't know. So I only know that this metro is going to that direction, right? But there is some kind of stations. And from time to time, I just try to correlate if the name of the next station that I do have on the door is exactly what I can see out from the window. So if it's aligned, then I'm happy because I am on the right direction. But if one station after, I can see that it's the wrong station that I do have inside and outside, then what did I miss? I'm not on the right metro. So that's kind of evaluation that I prefer to deliver when it comes to workforce management. And here is a tricky point. And for that, we can illustrate with one example. Imagine that your contract with your client is saying 90%, 20 seconds, 500 EHT, and occupancy is something like 75%. So that's the pricing model. Let's call it like this. And then you deliver something. Operation are delivering something different. So probably they are delivering 900 EHT, not reaching the service level. Occupancy is very, very different from the 75. So the question will be, you as WFM specialist, what will be your decision? So the most important is the RACI. Whatever we decide, who will own what, is the good map to read the responsibility, the roles and responsibilities. But someone needs to be clearly defined as owner, responsible, accountable for every single process, who is collecting the list of agents, who is collecting the data, who is responsible to take the final decision. Sometimes the recommendation from WFM will be, I don't know, maybe do not exceed 1 hour training per week. Operation will say, no, but we need 1 hour 30. So this is a recommendation, and then a counter indication. So who is owner of that final decision? Is it WFM or is it operation? In my opinion, it's always operation because they are responsible for the PNL at the end of the day, and we are here to support them to take a very well informed decision. So that's it. The way how things are working is um, simple as long as we define it with clear rules and responsibilities. Once we don't do that, we will create chaos and we will enter directly into the blame game. It's not my fault, it's your fault. And then it's an endless conversation.
Fully agree with you on this one. And if I bridge it back to when I first started working as a planner, I I I have told my story many times to that point, but I hated it because I was always told, okay, we need to do the planning, we need to do the real time monitoring. But then also the team leads were told, okay, but you need to following the service level during the day. So in the end of the day, everyone was taking actions for the same thing from different perspective. But when the result came in, it was always like, yeah, but the team lead did that. Yeah, but the real time team was to the bathroom, so somebody had to react. And it was always such a finger pointing and blaming game that it's easily avoidable. And I think this is also a reason why the rift between team leads and WFM teams starts, because everyone is responsible for everything, but then they don't know the extent to which they own the task. And this is the whole issue. We don't define responsibility versus accountability, and everyone does everything, and in the end no one does anything. So I really like that point. But you have created something very interesting for me in your presentation, and it's about the true WFM cycle, and you're taking a completely different approach to it. So walk me through it. And as a side note to everyone, again, I'm gonna link the presentation in the notes. So for everyone that it's interested, it's very interesting one. So highly recommended. But Zach, walk me through it.
Let me start with something different. Let's take the obvious. Imagine that you are a CEO and you have a sales team, right? What is their main responsibility as sales team or salesperson?
Are you asking me?
Yes,
Well, to achieve the sales that he has as a KPI, to sell
perfect,
as much as possible.
perfect. So imagine that this person is selling something very good price, very good everything, but then operations, when it comes to delivery, are struggling to deliver, pointing that the deal was bad. How do you evaluate where is the problem is landing?
But what do you mean from the delivery perspective? The delivery of a product, the delivery of
The
content?
delivery of the service itself. So you win a contract, your salesperson is winning a contract. You will manage calls for, I don't know, healthcare service, right? And that was sold with certain number of assumptions. Uh, And then, so everything was okay, everything was clear during the RFP process, during the sales process. And then we need to start delivering the product itself, the
Yeah.
service, I mean.
Okay.
So, and you just observe that your operation, they are struggling to deliver this service, saying that our agents cannot be at the expected level of proficiency. So you have a clear gap between the contract and the operational point of view about how to deliver the thing. So here you don't have one responsible of failure. It's not the fault of the salesperson. It's not the fault of operation. It's the fault of the process itself. Something was completely unclear during the RFP period where um, no one was able to put a true diagnosis to understand what will be the winning equation. A clear example is most of the clients today. they will ask if one agent can deliver voice, chat, back office, 5 different languages using chatbot, and tons of other things at the same time. So this is the request. So if you have a salesperson who is not challenging this, who is not picking up the phone and asking the operation, is it something that you can truly deliver or not?
Gotcha.
How? What are the caveats? And if we as a company, we want to take the risk, this is a prestigious logo and we want to have it on our list of clients. And then we see and we accept the risk. And once we will hand it over to the operation to deliver, everyone is conscious about that risk. Then you have a perfect selling team. But if there is absolutely no conversation between everyone, and sales are sales, operation are operation, and most of the time you will find a director of operation or ops management or whatever come in with very big eyes saying, hey, why are you selling those things? We can never achieve that. And sales are, now it's no longer my business. It's your hot potato, manage it. I was only responsible to bring it to the company. That's that. So what would be intelligent from a CEO is to put some KPIs to measure the performance of sales depending on this process, how it is calibrated with operation, not only how many clients did you bring, what's the revenue, and what's. It's also how can we make sure that whatever we will put in our offer is something we can achieve realistically. So WFM is exactly the same. So again, if you break down the WFM process into multiple steps, you will always find that they need to have list of persons, they need to have assumptions in terms of shrinkage, they need to have assumptions in terms of attrition, in terms of learning curve, in terms of X, Y, and Z. So put everything into one single planning steps. Let's call it the planning steps. And then your role as WFM will always be plan according to the reality. And when we don't meet the final result, you are able to directly the persons to which step is failing. So that's the true power of WFM. So what I call the true cycle is really plan realistically. Take something that is not insane to achieve, that take something where operations are buying in, aligned, committing to deliver, and then hand it over to them because they have to deliver this. They are responsible for the agent behavior. They are responsible for longer AHTs. They are responsible for repetitive sickness. This is management. This is no longer WFM. And they have to deliver. And whatever they will deliver, take it back again, measure it as a delta, always from the plan. How are you deviating from the plan? Not how are you deviating from the contract, because the contract is something different. And further in the slides, I have put one example, which is considering a service level of 90%, that's the target, but the WFM plan is only 84%. Let me just see the numbers to not say something. No, the service level target is 85%. The plan from WFM is 84%, so it's lower. And the delivery from operation is 83%. I think this is a perfect model. This is a perfect alignment about everything. This is us, them taking very righteous, but in other scenarios where you will find the same service level target 85% and the projected service level from WFM is 87%, which is even higher. So everyone is happy about the plan, but the delivery at the end of the day, the actual delivery is 50%. There is something wrong in the process. We don't know how to plan. I always challenge my guys saying that if your plan is very far from the actual data delivered by operation, it means that you don't know how to plan. As simple as it is.
But can I challenge you on this one?
Of
So,
course.
take for example, because I agree with you, and I always like to use the bandwidth because having a perfect forecast 100% is like utopia, right?
Doesn't exist.
Perfect schedule. So we need to have a bandwidth. But imagine, just imagine, something happens, a flu pandemic, and nobody comes to work. And like service level is in the drain, like nobody showed up at work. It's something that, in my opinion, also from performance, a scenario should be excluded when you're measuring your people, because there was no way that we can predict COVID, like that everything is gonna close, for example.
And you are perfectly right. But here we do have to think about another methodology, which is the BCP, Business Continuity Plans. And this is completely different from the core perspective. What we are talking about here is trends. If your delivery is 50% because of very single issue is popping up, like whatever you are describing, then it's okay. This is something that we have to isolate from the historical data and do not consider it as critical to WFM or to operation. This is force majeure. That's how we call it in French. I don't know what's the right term in English.
We stole this one from you in Bulgaria, just so you know. Probably English did the same. Okay, doesn't matter.
So this is something different. But if you're, in my example, if you're simply out of office shrinkage is 3 times higher than your assumption for several weeks, it means that you are not aligned with the reality. And most of the time, it's like this. But if your trend over 6 weeks or 3 months is around 10% out of office, and you are challenging a bit the operation and just putting 9% because you are expecting them to manage in a better way their out of office, and they finish by delivering 20% in 1 week, and then the week after it's back again to 10%, then it's something really wrong about 1 week. Maybe this is out of control completely. Sometimes it can be inside the control if you have some very specific weeks with a big event and you haven't considered this into your forecast, then probably it can be a bit your responsibility as WFM. But most of the cases, this is very isolated week. But if your actual trend is 10%, you plan with 9, and you start delivering 15, then 16, then 18 for 3 weeks, then no matter how, the third week, you need to rethink your trend. You need to rethink your projection. Sorry. You need to take something like, what is going on? Is it something really that you cannot control as ops? And then we have just to put a new assumption in your out of office shrinkage equivalent to 18%, 19% to protect the business. Then you can visualize what is your effort in terms of hiring that you have to put in place, or simply to say to your client, we cannot because of. And if you are not the only provider, they can share the business with others. It's not good for you, because at the end of the day, you are losing money. But this is protecting also the trust you have with your client, because it's never a good position when you say, no, I can do, and at the end of the day, you don't deliver. Clients will always appreciate that you are a bit of straightforward, saying, okay, I cannot do it because of, I commit that I can do it back again in 5 weeks because I need to regain control on my assumptions, and that's it. So it is supposed to be a perfect alignment between the initial plan, the trends, the delivery, and then retake it as continuous improvement to the process. So it's never a final destination. It's always starting back again the loop.
You know, I quite like that you're outlining that, because a single point of failure for many companies and teams that I have seen is evaluating or assessing performance based on a target. While for many organizations, if we're taking service level, this cannot be applied in good faith. Say, for example, that you are severely understaffed. Well, I cannot meet your target, even if I'm your best planner. Like literally, there isn't a better planner than me in that entire earth. If the prediction is that I can meet up to 50%, that's it. So I fully agree that the evaluation should be based on also the prediction on what is the most you can achieve under the circumstance, because the target might not be achievable at all. And this is then the alignment that you're sharing. And yes, maybe our strategy is to go to up to that 90 or 95% or whatever you want to achieve, but then you also need to consider your circumstance and your environment. So, yeah, really, really good. And this is the mature way to look at things rather than, well, that's my target and I'm 40% below it. And that's why I'm not getting my bonus. And the other thing that I wanted to bring you back on the conversation, why sometimes alignment sucks, is because of different financial interest between the parties. And I'm quite vocal about it because what I have seen also from vendor perspective or from team lead perspective is, if you can achieve a financial bonus by doing some stuff that might not be better for the greater good, but it's definitely better for your wallet, people tend to do it. People have to pay bills. Everyone have different life circumstances. They might be in a great need of that. There is no racy. There is not basically a process that need to follow. They're going to do whatever they can to reach that bonus. And that's it. So tell me, what is then the true, how did you call it in the presentation, what we are truly and really measuring in WFM then?
Um, yes, it's three component predictability. Can we forecast operational needs with precision? I believe this is really something not possible. But what is possible is to measure if we have done our effort, if we have considered every single piece of work, if we have challenged many algorithms, and we have even created something new, if not covered by the the time series. I always say that uh, forecast, specifically forecast, is always wrong, but what can be always right is our methodology of work. And if how do we consider the historical trend data versus the future events, versus the future impact, the ones that we would like to create. Um, so if there is no equilibrium between both of them, then definitely we are losing something. The final number is different and will always looks different. And same goes for everything else. Every single assumption, it's part of it, historical data. But once you will enter into the game, the future events, um, even in terms of vacation, for instance, if you don't predict your vacation period, depending on the country, depending on the labor uh, rules, depending on the behavior, if you don't predict this with the right way, then you will fail. You will simply transform your vacation and to unplanned absence. And this is something to avoid. Um, so it's not again about the final number. It's about how do you manage that forecast? How do you learn from mistakes? How accurate you can go while looking at the mirror, and you simply find that for 5 months you are out of accuracy with 20% deviation. How can you move from that 20% to uh, 10, closing the gap? So this is how smart the people will be. The second thing is credibility. Um, if there is no trust, there is no need for WFM. I always call the WFM team as neutral as Switzerland. They don't take decision. They simply provide enough insight and intelligence to others to take the right decision. And probably closing the loop to your idea, which is someone somewhere will always take a different decision because they have a different interest, And that's absolutely fine. They just need to take this decision based on your data, on your inputs, where they are relying on. So whenever you enter into any outsourcer, any company contact center, and you see that operation are going back again, schedules or planning or whatever, you simply understand that there is lack of trust. And lack of trust is coming from when I say that you will achieve something or not, and you don't hit it. You hit completely different things. So you do no longer have any benefit. You don't see any benefit in my work as input to you. That's why in some organization you will see operation as no, I don't need the planners. I know how to do things because what he is doing is more aligned to what he is delivering, and that's it. So credibility is fundamental, and we were talking about this learning agility. It's not a precise science. It's nothing like physics. Something today is the same tomorrow, and even with quantic, then it's a complete different field. But it's always moving to a direction you don't understand the first day, but you have to be close to your result after a few iterations. So that's if I am operational and I can see from um, all these years of experience how everyone in the organization can behave. But if I am purely operational, I will simply ask my WFM team to provide to me as good plans as I can achieve. And I need to help them because that's my role as operational guy by committing to those plans. I need to give to them an honest feedback about what they are not delivering right to improve themselves. But if I choose the way to duplicate cost by having my own team doing WFM in parallel to the WFM team, then I am losing efficiency and I am causing to the company a lot of troubles. No one can pretend today that they can do IT, that they can manage networks, that they can manage cybersecurity. They do have a team in the organization, and this team is doing the job. And if people are not satisfied, then they will provide enough feedback to this team to perform better. The issue with workforce management is everyone pretend to understand how to deliver WFM. That idea to we can replace them by anyone in our organization in terms of ops becomes easy. And that's not true because WFM is too much complex, coming with too much added value. So if you don't put the right persons at the right place at the right moment, you are losing everything.
Mhm. So it was such a great conversation. Before we wrap up for today, and I know that you have some questions prepared that people should ask, I would like to leave that in the presentation to be like a nice bonus. But I want to ask you final questions about how are you personally evaluating your team members? Like, can you give us your to go metrics to make sure they're doing a good job?
It's exactly what I'm describing in the slides. It's really I'm evaluating their plans, how for every single piece of work they are delivering, how much they are deviating from the reality, and we are trying to close the loop or to close the gap between what they are planning and what we are delivering, what they are delivering operations, and always trying to make them confident enough to speak about their plans,
That's a great one. That's a great
how to explain the plan, and how to be also humble to change it. If they are receiving something like, I don't like it because I do have different priorities, then it's okay. Against Again, we are not here to decide. We are here to make a very well decision to
one.
the go. And by this, I mean that we have to provide enough insights, enough analysis, enough intelligence to the wider company to take the right step.
Thank you so much for this conversation. And as always, it's a full, complete pleasure talking to you because you're coming up with straight on point, mature advice of how to do workforce management in a better way. So thank you so much, Zach, for this one. And thank you for coming prepared with even a presentation. I'm so impressed. And for everyone else, please go ahead, look at look at the episode, look at the presentation, and any questions and comments are always welcome. Let's keep that conversation open so everyone can learn and benefit from this. Thank you, Zach.
Thank you also for your podcast. Very, very good. And I wish you all the success.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us today. I'm your host, Irina Mateva, founder of WFM, where we believe that every business and its people are unique and deserve the right solution to their challenges. If you need support with workforce management, we're just a message away. Get in touch at irina@rightwfm.com or info@rightwfm.com. If you like the content and would like to support the show, please subscribe to WFM Unfiltered on your favorite podcast platform, leave a review, and follow me on LinkedIn. You can also show some love to our great sponsors. For more information about them, check out the episode notes. This is your place for real WFM, so to suggest guests or topics, get in touch at irina@rightwfm.com. See ya!